What if I told you that the most powerful tool you'll ever own, it isn't your phone, it's not in your bank account, it's actually right behind your eyes. Today we're going to dive into a method that's all about unlocking the huge hidden potential that you already have. We're talking about your own mind. Way back, like over a century ago, this really smart psychologist, William James, he said something that's kind of wild when you think about it. He basically said our biggest discoveries aren't going to be out there in space, they're going to be from exploring our inner space. He was convinced that every single one of us has this huge reserve of untapped power, just sitting there, waiting for us to find the key. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a superhero movie, right? But what if it wasn't fiction? I mean, really, what if you could solve some super complex problem or, I don't know, find your lost keys just by closing your eyes and looking inside? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is way more real than you might think. And look, these stories, they're not just lucky guesses. These are actual documented accounts. So picture this. A city planner, he's got a super important meeting in just a few minutes, and poof, the architectural plans are gone. Instead of totally freaking out, he just sits down, meditates for like 10 minutes, and bam, he suddenly knows exactly where they are. Or how about this? A woman on vacation loses her plane ticket. She just visualizes where it is and finds it in the exact spot her mind showed her. This isn't magic. It's the result of a very specific method. So you're probably wondering, who on earth figured all this out? Well, the story doesn't start in some fancy university lab. Nope. It starts with a humble radio repairman from Laredo, Texas. A guy whose incredible curiosity about how the human mind works ended up sparking a global phenomenon. I mean, José Silva's journey is just incredible. He was a self-taught electronics whiz, built a successful business from scratch, but his real passion, the thing that changed everything, it got started when he was just trying to help his kids do better in school. He started messing around with relaxation techniques, and then one night something absolutely wild happened. His daughter, Isabel, started answering questions he was just thinking about, questions he hadn't even said out loud. She was literally reading his mind. And that one moment, it changed everything. It put him on the path to creating what we now know as the Silva Method. So Silva knew right away this wasn't just some weird fluke. He realized he had stumbled onto a specific state of mind, a mental zone where these abilities just kind of switch on. The secret key wasn't some mystical, magical force. It was something real, something measurable, a frequency inside our own brains. Okay, so to really get how this works, we need a super quick crash course in brainwaves. It's simple, really. Your brain is constantly buzzing with electrical pulses, and the speed of those pulses, well, that determines everything, whether you're wide awake and stressed out, or deeply relaxed and in a creative flow. So think about your normal day. Most of that time, we're living in what's called the beta state. That's our outer world frequency, alert, logical, thinking things through. But there's another state. It's called alpha. And that's our inner world. It's that calm, intuitive zone you slip into when you're daydreaming or in a light meditation, or when you have one of those aha moments of creativity. That is the gateway that Silva found. And this is the absolute key right here. The whole point isn't to fall asleep or just zone out. No, the Silva method is all about teaching you how to get into that creative alpha state whenever you want, at will, while staying totally conscious and in control. It's like learning to use both sides of your brain, your logic and your intuition at the very same time. Okay, so that's the theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you get to this mental control panel? Well, the Silva method is basically a toolkit filled with really simple step-by-step exercises designed to get you there. And you know what? The process to get into alpha is actually surprisingly simple. You just start by sitting down somewhere comfortable and closing your eyes. The real trick, the physical part, is to look up just a little bit, maybe at a 20-degree angle, but behind your closed eyelids. Just doing that one simple thing naturally helps your brain start producing alpha waves. From there, you do a slow, guided countdown that takes you deeper and deeper into that relaxed state until you're there, at your creative level. Now, once you're in that calm, creative state, that's when you can start using some of the really powerful tools. And the most basic, the most fundamental one is a visualization technique he called the mirror of the mind. Here's how it works. First, you imagine a mirror in your mind and it's got a blue frame. In that mirror, you just project the problem, exactly as it is right now. You're not stressing about it, you're not judging it, you're just looking at it clearly, defining the current situation. Okay, so after you've got a really clear picture of the problem in that blue mirror, you just mentally slide it off to the side. And in its place, you create a brand new mirror, but this one has a bright white frame. This is your solution mirror. And in this one, you don't just wish for an answer. No, you vividly, and I mean vividly, imagine the solution as if it's already a done deal. You feel what it feels like to have already succeeded. Now, for this to really work, Silva said there are 3 things you absolutely have to have. First, desire. You have to genuinely, deeply want the outcome. Second, belief. You've got to believe it's actually possible. And finally, expectation. This is a big one. You have to truly expect it to happen, like you're waiting for a package you know is on its way. It's that combination, desire, belief, and expectation, that really programs your mind for success. So when you put it all together, the history, the science, these simple techniques, you end up with one really powerful idea. This isn't about magic or some supernatural power. It's about learning to use the natural, built-in abilities that your mind already has. You know, José Silva himself said it perfectly. He used to tell his students, "You are now learning to use more of your mind and to use it in a special manner." See, it's not about trying to become someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are. And this is not some fringe, wacky idea. I mean, since the 1960s, literally millions of people from every walk of life, we're talking doctors, artists, students, CEOs, they've all used these techniques to solve problems, get more creative, and hit goals they once thought were totally impossible. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you know it's possible, that you can learn to use your mind in this special, more powerful way, what are you going to create?